My husband's cousin took credit for a home project I designed and showed it off at a family event, saying, "It's a team effort anyway." When I called him out, my MIL said I was making a scene over nothing. I never thought I'd be the type of person to plot revenge, but here we are. For years, I've tolerated my husband's cousin, Darren. He's one of those guys who thinks he's smarter than everyone else, even when he clearly has no idea what he's talking about. He interrupts, dismisses people's ideas, and somehow always turns conversations back to himself. He's exhausting, but since he's family, I've always bitten my tongue. Until this. Last year, my husband and I bought a fixer-upper in Austin, Texas. It was a gorgeous old house, but it needed a ton of work. Since my background is in interior design, I took the lead on planning everything. I spent months researching, sketching, designing layouts, and picking materials. I worked with contractors, sourced furniture, and made sure everything stayed on budget. Darren? He came over twice during the entire process. The first time, he looked around and said, "You should just hire a real designer. It'll be worth it. I am a real designer." The second time, he told my husband that marble countertops are a waste of money, while I was standing right there. That was the full extent of his input. He didn't lift a finger, didn't contribute a single idea, and didn't care enough to ask about the progress. So imagine my shock when we went to a family event months later, and Darren was giving a full-on PowerPoint presentation about his amazing home renovation project. I wasn't paying much attention at first. But then I heard something that made me stop mid-conversation. He was describing my house. The layout? Mine. The finishes? Mine. The renderings? Mine. I turned and saw my own 3D floor plans up on the screen, the same ones I had spent weeks perfecting. Then, as if that wasn't bad enough, Darren smiled and said, "Of course, it's a team effort anyway. But, some people just have a better eye for design." A team effort? He wasn't on the team. He wasn't even on the sidelines. I felt my face get hot. I looked at my husband, who had the exact same what expression I did. My mother-in-law, sitting next to me, leaned over and whispered, "Don't make a scene. It's just a little presentation." Just a little presentation? A grown man was standing in front of 40 family members, flat out stealing my work, and I was supposed to just let it go? No. If Darren wanted attention, I was going to give him all of it. A few weeks later, my husband and I hosted the annual family barbecue at our house. Since everyone had already heard Darren's big speech, they were dying to see the place in person. Perfect. Darren showed up smug as ever, probably thinking this was his big moment. I played nice, greeting him warmly, and even thanking him for his wonderful ideas. I could see the ego boost in his face. He had no idea what was coming. When it was time for the house tour, I gathered everyone in the living room. They were looking around, admiring everything. That's when I started. "So, before we walk through, I just want to show you something cool." I pulled up my original 3D designs on the TV screen. The exact renderings Darren had shown in his presentation. There were a few murmurs, but I kept going. I actually started designing this layout over a year ago. Here are the first drafts I sent to the contractor. I clicked through emails, receipts, and timestamps showing every step of my process, months before Darren had even stepped foot in the house. And here's the design software where I created it all. Timestamped files and everything. Would anyone like to see? Dead silence. Then my husband chimed in. "Hey Darren, didn't you say you designed everything? Maybe you could show us your drafts?" Darren froze. I watched as his face went from red to pale in seconds. He tried to play it off, mumbling something about creative input. I wasn't done. One of my cousins, bless her soul, pulled out her phone. "Oh, you guys will love this." I recorded Darren's whole speech at the last family event. Want to hear him say, "I designed the entire thing myself"? More silence. I looked around. The expressions on everyone's faces? Priceless. Darren looked like he wanted the earth to open up and swallow him whole. His jaw tightened, his hands clenched into fists, and his eyes darted around, desperate for an escape. But there wasn't one. I just stood there, waiting. Everyone was waiting. He had to say something. And then, in true Darren fashion, he doubled down. "Look, I never said I did everything. I was just explaining the ideas I contributed. I mean, I gave some suggestions, and, besides, why does it even matter? It's not like she built the house with her bare hands." The audacity. Before I could say anything, my husband laughed, an actual, amused, "Oh, you just dug your own grave" laugh. "Wow, Darren. That's rich. Because I'm pretty sure I heard you say, I designed this entire thing myself. Cousin with the recording? She hit play. And there it was, Darren's own voice, crystal clear, I designed the entire thing myself. I had a vision, and I made it happen. The room went dead silent. Darren's face turned an alarming shade of red. He was shaking his head, trying to find a way to talk his way out of this, but no one was buying it. That's when his own father, Uncle Richard, a quiet, no-nonsense kind of guy, spoke up. So you just stole her work and lied to everyone? Darren looked pissed. He turned to my mother-in-law, clearly expecting her to step in like she always did. But even she wasn't on his side this time. I had no idea you did this, Darren. Why would you lie like that? That's when things really got interesting. One of Darren's younger brothers, Greg, suddenly burst out laughing. Like, full-body, wheezing laughter. Oh my God. This is so much worse than I thought. Everyone turned to him. Darren snapped, what's so funny? Greg wiped his eyes, still laughing. Dude. Just admit you stole it. You do this all the time. That got everyone's attention. What do you mean? Someone asked. Greg grinned and pulled out his own phone. Oh, I've got stories. Let me guess, did Darren act like he built this house with his own 2 hands? 'Cause last year, he told everyone at his office that he helped design the main lobby. He didn't. He got fired after they found out he stole a real designer's plans. You could hear a pin drop. Wait, another cousin jumped in. Darren, didn't you say you helped launch some app a few years ago? But then the company screwed you over and you left? Greg snorted. Oh yeah, that's because he stole someone else's pitch and tried to pass it off as his own. Darren looked murderous. Shut up, Greg. Greg just shrugged. What? It's true. And just like that, it all clicked. This wasn't just my project. Darren had a pattern. He had been stealing other people's work for years and getting away with it. Until now. Darren tried to do damage control. He turned to me, of all people, and went full fake outrage mode. Oh, come on. Are we really making this a big deal? It's just a house. It's not like I stole money from you or something. Darren, I said, voice calm, you took credit for months of my work. You lied to our entire family. You didn't just take my designs, you tried to make yourself look like a genius. And when you got caught, you doubled down. His mouth opened, but no words came out. Tell me, I continued, if it's not a big deal, why did you lie in the first place? Nothing. Absolute nothing. The weight of the silence crushed him. His parents looked humiliated. His siblings? Done with him. The rest of the family? Whispering, shaking their heads, exchanging looks that said, wow, what a loser. And I smiled. Because this wasn't over yet. Darren's face was twisted in anger, but he had no way out. His whole life, he had gotten away with lying, talking over people, and twisting the truth. But this time? He was cornered. The silence stretched. His parents looked humiliated. His siblings were whispering. His cousins were grinning because, for once, Darren wasn't the smartest guy in the room, he was just caught. Then, Greg, Darren's own brother, decided to twist the knife. So, Darren, are you gonna apologize? Or do you need a PowerPoint for that too? Laughter. Actual, genuine laughter. Darren's face turned an even deeper shade of red. He hated being laughed at. I saw the exact moment he snapped. You know what? He spat. This is ridiculous. You're all acting like I killed someone. I just borrowed some ideas. He was fuming, but nobody was buying his act anymore. Borrowed? My husband said, raising an eyebrow. You literally stood in front of everyone and said you designed it yourself. Darren's eyes darted around the room, looking for an ally. My mother-in-law? Arms crossed, glaring. His dad? Disgusted. His siblings? Done with him. No one was going to save him. And that's when I went in for the final blow. I took a deep breath, then looked Darren straight in the eye. Alright, Darren. If it's not a big deal, then you won't mind making it right. His eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? I smiled. You told our entire family that this was your project. You took credit for my work. So, let's fix that. Right now. He blinked. Fix it how? I pulled out my phone. You're going to send a message to the family group chat. You're going to admit that you lied. That you stole my designs, that you took credit for something you had nothing to do with, and that you're sorry. Darren froze. The family group chat included everyone. Aunts, uncles, cousins, his own parents, friends of the family, all of them. There was no way to spin it, no way to dodge. If he sent that message, his reputation was done. Are you kidding me? He hissed. Nope, I said cheerfully. He laughed, a bitter, angry laugh. Like I'm doing that. I shrugged. That's fine. I'll send it for you. With screenshots of your PowerPoint and the recording of you lying. Oh, and I'll add that little story about you stealing credit at work. Greg, you don't mind confirming that, right? Greg grinned. Not at all. Darren's face dropped. He looked at me. Then Greg. Then his furious parents. Then the crowd of family members still staring at him. His hands clenched into fists. His jaw tightened. He was trapped. And I let him sit in that silence. Then, without a word, he pulled out his phone. We all watched as he angrily typed. A moment later, the family group chat lit up. Darren, hey everyone. Just wanted to clear something up. The house design wasn't mine. My name did all the work, and I took credit when I shouldn't have. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I smiled. There you go. That wasn't so hard, was it? He shoved his phone in his pocket and stormed out of my house without another word. The second the door slammed, the entire room burst into laughter. The fallout was spectacular. Darren stopped showing up to family gatherings for a while. Every time he did, someone would bring up his amazing architectural skills just to watch him squirm. But the best part? A few months later, his job found out. Apparently, one of my husband's cousins worked in the same industry as Darren. The story of his stolen designs spread, and before long, it reached the ears of someone at his company. Turns out, he had pulled a similar stunt at work, claiming credit for someone else's project. And this time? He got fired. Last I heard, he was struggling to find a new job because word got around. Nobody wanted to hire a guy with a reputation for stealing credit. As for me, I got what I wanted. My credit. My respect. And the sweetest revenge. Darren wanted to be the center of attention. Now? He is. Just not the way he wanted.